Unpopular opinion. It takes money to make money is probably one of the biggest lies in finances. If it takes money to make money, but if you lack the funds, you can make up for in resourcefulness what you lack in money. Hi, I'm Carolyn and I'm a six-figure laid-back entrepreneur. My most successful business to date, and I've tried many. I've tried Etsy, I've tried freelancing, stock investing, real estate investing, property management, but my most successful one all comes from my main YouTube channel. That's the one that I didn't put any of my own money down to create. I just used my iPhone, I think it was an iPhone 7 at the time, and my old GoPro, which was a GoPro 3. Maybe I bought a $10 mic. But since then, any money I've spent on the channel, I've made from the channel. Sure, you can invest some money, but you don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money. For investing, you could even start with just $10. And if you ever watched Ryan Trahan's penny series about taking a penny to eventually even buying a house from just trading it with stuff, it's amazing what you can do if you just get creative. Another lie is that you have to be evil to be rich. Warren Buffett, who has a net worth of $155 billion, says he'll give away 99% of his wealth when he dies, and he's already donated $100 billion to charities. Keanu Reeves, who has a $380 million net worth, there's just this running theme about random acts of kindness he does for people on the road. There was this one time where he was seen giving up his seat for a woman on a bus. He's taken pay cuts to allow other actors to join films. He once helped a woman move her car that was stranded on the road, and according to this woman, it was covered in bird poop. And he had her get in the car and he pushed the car. The reason we know this is because it turned out to be many years later, the actress that we know as Octavia Spencer from The Help. But back then, I mean, she was driving a bird poop covered car that was stalling on the road. Basketball player LeBron James, who has a $1.2 billion net worth, he created a foundation to help impoverished children in his hometown. Another myth is that you need a college education to be rich. So my college education cost $250,000. It was a major in illustration. And when I got out of school, I was making $35,000 a year and slowly got a raise, maybe 3% with inflation each year. And about 8 years of that, I left making $55,000. Now I've since created a business off of YouTube that has actually nothing to do with drawing. It's actually with a different hobby, which is riding motorcycles. And within 3 years of quitting my office job, I was able to take that business to 6 figures. And each year it's just increased in revenue by about 30%. And I'm not using my illustration major for it at all. Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard to pursue his vision of building a personal computer. Mark Zuckerberg also dropped out of Harvard to create Facebook. Steve Jobs dropped out of Reed College to create Apple. And I have Oprah on here as building her empire without relying on education. But you know what, actually I looked into this and I disagree with that. Oprah actually majored in speech communication and performing arts, which, I mean, I feel like that applies to what she's doing these days. Another lie is that you'll always be broke or you'll always be in debt. I've had friends say this, literally heard friends say, I've just accepted that I'm always going to be broke. And I'm like, what are you saying? That is, you're just fulfilling a prophecy by saying that. Because now, as soon as you've said that, you have stopped looking and searching and trying to get out of that situation. J.K. Rowling was living on welfare before she wrote Harry Potter. Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, grew up in a poor, working-class Brooklyn neighborhood. Basketball player LeBron James was raised by a single mother and grew up not very well off at all. Another big lie is that having a high salary means you're wealthy. A lot of times, some people actually end up spending more than they make. Like they may make $1 million, but they may spend $990,000 that year, or they may spend $1,100,000 that year. And some people turn not a lot of money into high wealth. Sarah Blakely turned $5,000 into the multi-billion-dollar Spanx empire. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in his garage. Barbara Corcoran started with a $1,000 loan that grew into a $66 million real estate company. Another big lie is that it's normal to have debt. I literally had a friend say that she just accepts that she will always be in debt. And she said that her parents and grandparents are in debt. I mean, it's the same thing as saying like that you'll always be broke. Then as soon as you say that, you stop trying to be resourceful. Dave Ramsey was once in over $1 million of debt, and he managed to pay this off and build a highly successful personal finance company. Whatever you think of his attitude and methods. Walt Disney went bankrupt early in his career. Tyler Perry went from living in his car to creating the highly profitable Medea franchise. Another big lie is that money will make you happy. Money will solve all your problems. After a certain point, research shows that money actually delivers diminishing returns, and it can increase happiness up to a certain amount. I think it was up to about $60,000 to $80,000, but anything after that, people found that their level of satisfaction didn't actually change as much as it did from, say, like $30,000 to $40,000 or $40,000 to $50,000. But really, the most important thing that affected overall life satisfaction was relationships, health, and life purpose. Another big lie is that investing is only for rich people. Anyone can invest. You can literally start investing with $10. It's the important thing is to just get started. And any resources for all these things I'm talking about, I will link to down below for you. Sophia Amoroso started saving and investing from small amounts she made selling vintage clothes. And then she ended up making a significant sum through real estate and stock investments. Another big lie is that all debt is bad. Some debts you can use to build wealth. And yes, some is very bad. So one example of that is a loan for a business or a mortgage for not your house, because you're not really making money off of your house. And I'll explain what I mean by that. But a loan for, say, a rental property where you can make more than the mortgage. And then so you're actually making money on top of that mortgage. Not just the appreciation that you can get when you sell the place, but more money right now each month. Robert Kiyosaki used $20,000 of debt to start his real estate empire that is now worth $100 million. So that vintage clothing store we're talking about for Sophia Amoroso, she initially borrowed $2,000 to start selling the clothes on eBay. And she built that into a company that she eventually sold for $20 million. Another big lie I'd say is that budgeting sacrifices fun. Budgeting allows your fun to be sustainable. It allows you to keep doing it and not run through all your money in 6 months because you spent it all on traveling and shopping. Knowing how much you spend without worrying about it, and then realizing if you've maybe spent too much this month, to just get more resourceful and dedicate your time on things that don't cost as much money. It can really help your peace of mind and also just set you up to not have a bigger problem later down the road. And another lie for you, here's a bonus, is that you can solve all your problems if you just had more money. Some people who get a large sum of money end up being worse than they were before. I'll explain. 70% of all lottery winners go broke within a few years. 70%! These are people who are not budgeting, who are not investing their money, who are just spending it all, maybe giving it all away, didn't know that they had to pay taxes before they spent it. Please, if you win the lottery or if you get a big sum of money, put some of it in index funds where it's just automated stock so it can just grow over time and you don't even have to touch it, you don't even have to think about it. Buy real estate, put something that you can rent out, have a property management deal with it. I think you're gonna get, just based off of my low budget real estate portfolio compared to my sister's higher budget real estate portfolio, I think you're gonna have much less of a headache if you can go higher budget, but whatever you can do, just do it. 70%, oh my gosh, that is stressing me out. 78% of former NHL players face financial stress within 2 years of retirement. Okay, I did this research, I did these notes, but I haven't looked at it in a while, so it's freaking me out again to read it again. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. So now that you know the biggest lies and myths about money, you can already be so much smarter with your own money. And if you want to dig into the more positive side, building income streams, making that money, how to do that, I share my 7 income streams right over here.